All right, you guys, how are you? I haven't done one of these videos in a long time, so it's kind of a lot. First and foremost, I'm just going to say I have had a lot of ups and downs over the past couple weeks. First and foremost, we'll just get into it right away. I did get my second dose of the vax on the 14th. And I knew that it was going to set me back. It set back a lot of my health goals because before I got the vax, I was starting to feel better. I was kind of on a little bit of an upward swing. Things were getting better, but I knew that that was coming, and a lot of my hypothyroid goals and these types of things were going to be set back because I knew, and I could feel it, that through the stress of the vax, it was probably going to raise up my estrogen, suppress my thyroid, and I was going to be a little bit thrown back, and I have been. So I will just say the second time I had a really, really, really bad fever the day of the shot. So probably that night I was dizzy. I fell backwards out of the shower. I've been falling a lot, which I'm going to get into that, but that was one thing. I fell out of the shower backwards. It was really graphic. I wasn't hurt at all, which is interesting. So, but point is, my balance was way off, and I was very, very, very feverish, and I actually used it as a time to meditate. So I actually meditated about my relationships and me and where some of my issues are, from my daddy issues, just weird shit. I went real deep with it because I was kind of praying while I was suffering through this fever, and I kind of felt like God said, well, why don't you use this? And it was interesting because I did the meditation where I thought about, these different coping mechanisms I've had, which maybe I'll do a video on that. I don't really want to talk about it right now though, but, because it's not relevant. But as soon as I finished that meditation, my fever broke. I broke a sweat and the sun came up. It was the weirdest thing. The next couple days were rough. It was definitely better. I was nauseous a lot, and I just felt really sick for a while. So it wasn't pleasant. I would say the experience of the whole thing was really unpleasant. The first shot was really bad. The second shot was worse. It was just more the first one was more not as bad, but for a week solid. The second one was really bad, but for 3 days. But yeah, it was not, it was miserable. I'm just going to be honest. It was a miserable experience for the most part. I'm really glad that it's over, and I don't have any regrets or anything. I don't feel like that. I'm really relieved that it's over because now I feel like my path ahead of me is more open, because it's causing a lot of financial issues too, because I couldn't work during that time. So it's just causing a lot of issues. It has been very beyond inconvenient, beyond. And I know that sounds really kind of privileged-y, and I understand the privilege of being able to get it, but at the same time, I don't know if the drawbacks necessarily, or what is it, a lot of people don't ever think about the sort of economic impact of that, of being too sick to work and that causing issues. So I'm just being honest, and I'm telling you guys my experience. So I'm struggling because of it, basically. So I'm kind of mad at it right now. I might feel better in June, but right now I'm really irritated that I had to do it, that all this happened. I'm just really, really irritated with that. And like I said, it wasn't even just that. It's also that it sets me back, which is irritating. So I would say, like, I gotta try to take it back to 2 weeks ago, and I'm struggling here. But after, like, what happened at the end of April, where I got in, like, these huge blowout fights with my mom, and I, like, totally flipped out on my boyfriend, and just, like, a lot of stuff happened. After I made the last video, I really dove into being more aware of my hormonal states, being more aware of my emotions, and just, you know, when they're being influenced by my hormones, basically, and just really focusing on it. Because I don't think a lot of people understand, like, at this point in my life, I don't have any hang-ups, you know, like when it comes to emotional things, or, you know, my logic is flawed, or, you know, like just different things like that. Like, there's no other thing for my depression. Like, there's no other reason for feeling sad or being a huge bitch or whatever other than my hormones. Because, like, I'm not angry anymore. Like, it's kind of funny. There's this Paramore song that was called I'm Not Angry Anymore, and she was totally still angry in the song. But I haven't been angry probably since last year, because, like, I didn't have anybody in my life. You know, I was alone and stuff, and I kind of, like, calmed down. But I was kind of over it anyways, because I think, too, this is a little bit off topic, but I think with anger, like, when it's expressed and you get it out and you do something about it, like, you run out of it eventually. Like, it's not, anger is a limited resource. That's what I would say. It is a limited resource. So you run out. So I don't have any anger, don't have any weird philosophies that make me depressed, and I don't have any emotional hang-ups. Like, I'm not closeted or, you know, something like that. I don't have any, like, thing that's making me angry or sad or whatever. Like, at this point, it's all hormones, essentially. And then maybe sometimes financial stress, but we're going to get into that as well as we make our way to the present day. So essentially, like, my thought process was, if I'm feeling really bitchy or really irritable, or if my mom is really getting on my nerves, it's probably because I'm having a hormonal moment. Probably has nothing to do with her, has nothing to do with what's happening. It's just a hormone thing. So I probably did do some streams where I was feeling hormonal. And then, of course, after the vax, it totally, you know, like I said, it set me back. So I've been kind of in that lately. And how it feels is when I'm having, like, an estrogen moment or, like, that kind of thing, is I just get really, really anxious, really fixated, really anxious. Yeah, anxious for sure. And just very, like, irritable and paranoid, and like, it's a physical thing too. So I'm trying to explain it, because I don't want people to think, oh, you're just feeling that way. Like, no, like, it's physical, because I also get sweats, my heart races, you know, like, I'm having these different physical manifestations. And, you know, kind of as my body purges this crap out, it's been pretty rough, you know, throughout the time. So I knew that it was going to be a long time of this, especially with the vax looming, because I knew that would totally make it happen, and it did. Like, I've had some of my worst days with this over the past 2 or 3 days. So, like, about a week after the vax, like, I'm having this huge, like, estrogen reaction where I'm, like, really, really paranoid. I'm really, really crazy, like, and all this stuff. But I haven't fought with anyone because I've been aware of it. So I actually haven't fought with my mom at all. I did a lot of, like, de-escalation techniques and these kind of things. And because my mom is going through her own thing, which I'm not going to get into, but because that's her business. But she's a little challenging, we'll just say. probably for the average person, but for me in my current state, she's very challenging. So it's easy for us to like really escalate things like it happened at the end of April. So I've been really, firm on certain things. Like I told her once, like I was like, you can't be treating me like this, I do my part, like, of certain things. Like I realize like where I've been selfish, like I'm really making things work and trying to think about things logically as possible when it comes to it. And like I said, if I'm feeling angry or feeling irritable or just, unwarrantedly so, I try to acknowledge that it is likely a hormonal state because I've been having these, less and less actually, but still around once a week. It's actually around like Tuesday and Wednesday. I know that's weird. But in this case, it was like after the vax. So it's kind of like, more vax related right now than anything else. So, yeah. So it's kind of like this, like you get better, then you get worse, and you get better, then you get worse, and you kind of just like kind of go up and down and up and down, but over time, I'm getting better. So like the slope is better. My lows are not as low, and my highs are higher. And that's kind of where I've been at for this month. This month has been really challenging in a lot of ways. I'm really trying to break a bunch of different cycles. Like I was tempted to go back to keto this month. And I was like, no, Alex. Because I was like, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. And then I was like, Alex, it doesn't matter if you lose weight if you can't keep it off. Like you've already done keto like 3 or 4 times. Like, so it's a lot of the stuff where I'm just trying to break cycles in my life. I'm trying to break a lot of different cycles across all different areas of my life. And it's really difficult because like for me, like I enjoy like predictability. I enjoy a sense of knowing how I'm going to feel or knowing what's coming. If I'm on a cycle, it's like, oh, eventually I'm losing all this weight, but I'm going to gain it back. And then I'm going to go back on the diet and then I'm going to lose it again. Like that's like, those kind of things are comforting to me. So at this point, to not have that, it's uncomfortable. It's not bad. It's actually really good. It's a good thing. Like I'm doing really well, but it's uncomfortable because it's different. And so I don't know what's coming, And now that I don't have the vax anymore ahead of me, I'm really going to see where I'm going to go, as we get to July, August, September, October. Like how different am I going to be? My body is changing a lot. It seems more like, it's weird because like, I don't know if it's that stuff is just moving around, which is possible because I have been taking all these herbs now for months. But it's kind of like, a lot of my weight is just, it's like the skin is getting stronger. And I've talked about that a lot in previous videos, and just know it got even, like it's even stronger now. Like when I fell out of the shower, my butt hit the toilet and I crashed to the floor, and it was like really loud and really drastic. And I remember I was just laying on the floor looking up at the ceiling, and I was like, I don't have any pain. Like I'm not hurt. And like I literally didn't even have a bruise the next day. And I was like, whoa, because I have a lot of weight. Like I'm a very heavy person, you know what I mean? So like, I don't think people understand, but when someone like me falls to the ground, you would expect to be injured. I'll just put it to you that way. But it's probably because like my butt is just so big, it like protected me or something. It absorbed all the shock, or my body just went, But the point is, like, I'm seeing a lot more structural integrity in my body. Like my skin, like I said, it's just much stronger. It's like thicker and stronger. And my bones are like stronger. Like, I don't know. it almost looks like my teeth are remineralizing right now. So I've been doing the oil pulling for weeks, and oh my God, I had the craziest detoxes from that, which I knew I would, and then I had some die off from doing diatomaceous earth as well. So this month has been really bad, and I knew it would be because then I had to do the vax too. So I'm just kind of like really on the heels of all that right now. At this point, like it's pretty intense. But after like about 3 weeks of doing the oil pulling and the diatomaceous earth and all these other herbs, and you have to realize too, like a lot of the stuff I'm taking, it's very anti like parathyroid hormone too. I've been eating tons of calcium. As I told you guys, I eat lots of dairy. I've been making sure I get all my vitamin C, and I've been eating tons and tons of red meat. And it was funny because I was like kind of paranoid about like my zinc. I was like, I'm not getting enough zinc. I need to get more zinc. Oh my God, oh my God. And I saw that like one beef patty has like 45% of your daily amount of zinc. And I was like, oh, I'm eating like 4 of those a day. Like, I'm fine. I'm eating like a pound of hamburger a day. Like, I'm getting plenty of zinc and iron and all that stuff from the meat that I'm eating. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I'm getting like a lot of those minerals. And as you guys know, there's a lot of vitamin, I don't know if you do know, I don't know why I assume that. There's a lot of vitamin K2 in cheese, which was funny because I was looking into some of my nutrients. I'm like, am I getting this? Am I getting this? And in cheese, it's like, cheese is a very high source of vitamin K2, but they're like, but be careful because it has saturated fat and calories. And I was like, okay, whatever. I eat a lot of cheese still, a lot of yogurt. I eat a lot of dairy, and I eat a lot of, tons of dairy, tons of red meat, tons of fruit, and sugars and stuff like that. So I've been doing really well with the diet. I'm sticking to it very strong. As I've said, on this diet, I have 0 cravings whatsoever. Don't even have any issue because you're getting, like I'm getting every single macronutrient. I'm just avoiding certain kinds of fats, I do think in the future I need to diversify the kinds of meat that I'm eating. Different cuts, different types. Like maybe I should do some pork, some eggs, more like try to mix it up. But I've been really, really focused on red meat. And it has just been giving me life. Like it is great. Oh my God. But yeah, I would say with the diatomaceous earth, which has copious amounts of silica in it, I'm seeing that the most. Like my nails, when I cut my nails last, it was hard to cut them. Like, and I've had pretty thin nails for a long time. Like, so I didn't even realize that that was a thing. Like, I was trying to cut it and I'm like, oh my gosh, and it's like, it was tough. So I'm like, I'm going to have to definitely cut them, like, after a shower in the future. Like, my toenails are still thinner, but, like, my fingernails are really thick and, like, I'm scratching people. Like, it's weird. Like, you don't think about this kind of thing. But, it's just stronger. They're stronger. And it's because, like, my thyroid hormone is better. My testosterone is higher. I'm getting all these nutrients. Like, I'm getting all the silica from the diatomaceous earth. Like, so, especially since I started doing the diatomaceous earth, I'm seeing a lot of changes. And I think, like, people don't understand, like, it's never about just one thing. It's kind of similar to astrology. It's like, you can never look at a situation and just look at one planet. You have to look at the whole picture. And it's the same thing with this. Like, the reason why I'm having such a benefit from diatomaceous earth is because I've already got my parathyroid hormone down. The stress hormones, cortisol, estrogen, all these things are down. My thyroid hormone's up. My testosterone is up. All these things are changing. That's why, like, my skin is drastically changing now. That's why my nails are getting thicker. It's like everything is improving. My mood is improving, like I said, although it is up and down, and it's a struggle. And I told you guys it would be, especially with all these different things I had to do this month, like the vax and doing the oil pulling, which I had crazy, like reactions with my gums and like all this stuff that was coming out. Like it wasn't like, I'd see it in the oil, but it's more just you feel the infection coming out of your gums, And like I got really into it. Like I've been doing flossing now, like brushing, like I've been really diligent with my oral health. And for the first time in my life, I don't have gingivitis. Like if I floss, I don't bleed. I don't have anything. My gums are not at all inflamed for the first time in probably ever. And at the same time, I'm seeing possible teeth remineralization, and these different things are happening probably because of nutrient profiles and less parathyroid, which breaks down your bone and teeth, which you see that a lot in vegans because their thyroid is jacked up because they're not getting any protein. They're not getting any, especially meat. So when you don't have meat or dairy, your thyroid becomes stressed and your parathyroid goes higher. So I've been watching a lot of those, like the vegan deterioration still, and a lot of the symptoms that they talk about on there is, hypothyroidism, and it's caused by that. It's the same thing that happens when you're keto, although it's a little bit less severe because being ketogenic, your body can still produce carbs. However, it will break down your tissues to do so. So, and I did experience that, where your skin gets more saggy, this gets more flabby, your eyes kind of get sunken in like I've had a lot of those things. Your hair goes, there's a lot of issues that happen with keto as well, but it's also hypothyroid, but it affects you differently. Whereas with vegan, you lose your bones, you lose your teeth like crazy. And that's why a lot of vegans have tons of teeth issues. I do as well, but mine is just from overall hypothyroidism and stress. I started to see my teeth deteriorate before I ever went keto. So it doesn't have much to do with that for me. It was just, you have to realize, I was morbidly obese. I had all this crap going on. It was just totally, my health, my hypothyroidism was way, way progressed by 2018 to the point where it started breaking down my bones and my teeth. So I feel like a lot of that is rebuilding now. So there isn't any weight loss. In fact, there might even be some weight gain. And I knew that would happen, and it irritates me. But at the same time, it's Alex, if I can literally look in the mirror, see my teeth getting better, it's obviously bone. I'm eating copious amounts of all these different minerals. Obviously, I'm building my bones back, and you just gotta ride the wave. I just gotta keep going. Like I said, my skin is better. I was feeling the skin on my back earlier, and I'm I have this back roll on how you have your back, your upper back and your lower back and then your butt. On my lower back there's this roll that just goes out, and that roll is going away. And it's because a lot of my body, it's just the structural integrity is improving. Like I said, the way the skin sits is improving. Even this arm, a lot of times you'll have the ice cream arms, and I still do, but it's not as much. You know what I mean? The structural integrity is just getting better. My arm is more round. It's more the skin is holding together. You know what I mean? So a lot of that's happening in my hair. Oh my God. My hair is growing so well. My facial hair is I used to have some patchy areas, and my facial hair, it's now just totally full, the whole way. If I were to grow a beard, it would be a full beard. And then lastly, my libido is really high compared to how it's been in the past, so I'm really getting that back, beyond. I thought I would never feel the ways that I felt, so to speak, ever again. I thought that, I just aged out of it, but I didn't. Like, it's really coming back, and it's like, whoa, that's a good thing, because that means, again, if your libido is high and you're experiencing, I don't know how to say this. Let me just be real. We're going to be very real. I'm experiencing, I don't know, I don't want to say it, the big O, I guess, so to speak, in a way I haven't experienced it in many years. Like, probably since I was at least 23 or 24. So, like, it's a lot better. Drastically better. Drastically more intense. Drastically more this, drastically more that. Like, that's all I'm going to say. I tried to, like, censor it as much without, but still saying what it is. So in a lot of ways, I just feel like I'm turning back the clock. I feel like I'm aging backwards, and it's a really good feeling, and I'm really thankful, and I'm just like, oh, thank God, like, I'm relieved, because I didn't like the way I was looking. I didn't like the way my body was going. I didn't like the way my libido was. I didn't like the way that all these things were. I didn't like my mood. I didn't like my attitude. I didn't like all this stuff that was going on, and I feel like I'm turning the car around, and now I'm going more towards what I want to be. And I'm seeing all these different effects of, like, higher testosterone, like the facial hair, the libido, the my hair growing in more, like, all these different things, like, and it's just, I feel like I'm aging backwards. I feel like I'm looking younger too, and I think, like, especially from how I looked a year ago, I look younger. Like, especially from, if I look at, like, last fall, ooh, child, I looked rough, and I'm looking less rough, I'm feeling less rough, I'm having better moods, I'm more in control of my emotions, and I'm just doing a lot better, and I think it's going to get even better in the months to come, especially because in June, there's nothing holding me back. Nothing holding me back physically. I don't have any detoxes. I don't have anything to do. I just started taking ashwagandha, KSM 66 ashwagandha, so I will give you guys updates on that in the weeks to come. But I just started that regimen, and I'm going to keep that going for at least 2 months, and then I'll keep you guys posted on that as well. But for now, that's all we got. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do give it a thumbs up if you did. Comment any questions or anything that you have, and I will get back to you. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, y'all.